just over to the right-hand side of the boat there, you can see a place called Mount Rex over to the right there. Now, Mount Rex is basically the site of Atlas Ready Mix from Takaputa, the Atlas Concrete. It's their sand depot. You'll see all that white sand ashore there. Well, that sand is suction dredged from right out in the middle of the Kaipara Harbour between Poto Point and the South Kaipara Peninsula. You'll see the big suction dredges there. They'll do up to 2 trips in a 24-hour period. They'll dredge the sand there, and it's brought back to this location to the right where it's then unloaded before being taken by trucks through to Auckland for use in their different concrete building products. It's a very high quality white sand we have down there on the Kaipara heads. Now you can see at this stage of our journey where the river forks. Over to the left-hand side of the boat there, the river carries on out into the harbour. We'll be heading down there later on today, but for now we're going to make a turn to the right and head into the Kaukapakapa River. Now the river we're making our way into, the Kaukapakapa River, is very typical of the many hundreds and hundreds of miles of inland rivers and waterways which make up the Kaipara estuary. The Kaukapakapa River goes for many miles inland. In fact, the headwaters of this particular river rise to within 5 miles of Orewa on the east coast. And in times gone by, river was very important, firstly for the big timber ships to make their way into the mill sites which are here on the Kaukapakapa River, and of course later on those small river steamers and cutters would make their way into the Kaukapakapa River to service the needs of those early settlers and of course provide that very necessary link back to the railhead at Helensville. We're going to have a little bit of a look now into the Kaukapakapa River.
That's another cargo ship.
area we're making our way into now is known as Whakatiwai. Now Whakatiwai was one of the very first areas in the southern part of the Kaipara to be milled over. It was in 1844 it was acquired by the Elthwaite family. Now Whakatiwai was originally a block of some 2,500 acres of bush and scrubland. The Elthwaite family was responsible for the milling of the biggest proportion of kauri timber from this area. Over the left-hand side of the boat, this is where they had the old mill site. This was the original mill site over to the left there. And some of the photographs in our museum there at Helensville show some of these ships right up in the river here, loading the timber to be taken away overseas. A lot of this very early timber from around this area was directly exported to Australia. Went from Kaipara here through to both Melbourne and Sydney for the construction of those cities there.
Sit down.
Now you'll see the start of the bush reserve over to the left-hand side of the boat. It runs for some miles along the side of the river there. And you'll see a lot of our native bush in there, and particularly you'll see a lot of kowhai up in the bush there. Now the kowhai, that's that lighter, fluffy-looking tree, that lighter green and fluffy-looking tree right through the bush there. In September, October, we get the kowhai coming into flower here, and certainly very beautiful indeed at that time of year with the flowering kowhai in the bush here.
There's the road up there, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, wave to the children in the window.
I gotta take her.
Look, they got their little dinghy there.
Um,
They've got their little dinghy there.
I take a photo of the cow.
Yeah,
Say, picture cows. Do you know that when you do the la-la-la-la, they go round?
Now, just over to the left-hand side of the boat there, you can see a lot of our very beautiful New Zealand native bush over there. There's a lot of kaihikatea in there, there's rata, there's rimu, there's totara and tarari. And of course there's those young kauri trees, those tall, straight young kauri rickers.
I take the photo of the road.
Anyone not too familiar with our New Zealand kauri, you're directly to the left-hand side of the boat now. You can see the long, tall stem running skywards and all the foliage at the top of the tree there. That's our New Zealand kauri, or a young kauri, what they also known as a kauri ricker or a ricker kauri. Now, what we actually call them a young kauri tree, those kauri trees are around about 150 years old, such as the slow growth rate of our New Zealand kauri. And right up across the bush there to the left, you can see the young kauri trees running right back into the bush. This is why those sailors first brought those big sailing ships, those giant windjammers, right into this harbour and into these very rivers. It was to get access to those young kauri trees, which they found to be an excellent material for the mast and spars on the sailing ships. Now, we've been talking today about the way they used to bring these big ships right up into the rivers here, and of course there's not much of a river to get any sort of vessel into today. But one must remember that over the years these rivers have really silted and shallowed up. Firstly with the taking of the kauri and the other vegetation, the consequent erosion has made the river silt and shallow. Advent of the mangroves, now those mangroves have only been here 160, 170 years or so. The advent of the mangroves has made the rivers close in a lot. And in latter years, there's been a lot of flood control on the farmlands. Waterways and watercourses have been diverted. Dams have been built. And we don't get that big freshwater flushing effect down these rivers anymore. That means a lot of these rivers in and around the Kaipara Harbour, where once you could get sizable vessels into, today are very slowly silting up and dying.
That little cheese in there if you want it.
you.
Grass.
What?
Speedboat. And you.
Huh?
And you.
No.
Mother.
What? Oh. Oh, look at the waves, Lucy. Look.
Now the area of bush that we're looking at now to the left-hand side of the boat in a lot of ways can remind us of what these rivers and creeks were like before the Europeans came and took the bush away. In the early days there would have been bush similar to what we got on the left-hand side of the boat, right down to both sides of the water's edge here. The mangroves wouldn't have been here, and with the river a lot deeper and a lot cleaner, certainly would have been very beautiful in here indeed. In this particular area of bush there's some 26 different species of New Zealand native trees. And one could just imagine the awe and the amazement of those early European settlers when they came to Kaipara and they found many, many hundreds of miles of bush-lined rivers similar to this that they had to make their way through to finding new homes.
You're fine.
Now anyone not too familiar with our kowhai, directly to the left-hand side of the boat, overhanging the river, that fluffy tree you can see. And that's our kowhai, and as I was saying, September of every year we get the yellow flower right across the bush here, and it's certainly very beautiful indeed at that time of year here in the river.
Vanessa couldn't have come today.
Wow. It's beautiful
She
back
could have
in
missed
there.
that just one family meeting, couldn't she? Thank her that she every weekend.
Right?
Couldn't she have just missed the one family meeting then?
She said she was going.
Yeah. Great.
Wave.
Go out in the surfboard. Hey Tom.
What's a surfboard?
Things that people go out in the sea and stand on. You've seen them going like that over the waves on TV? It's called surfing.
Wow, we're far away now. Picture cheese.
Huh?
Yeah, look at that there. There. The waves. And that's the on the
Yeah, luckily at that step. before. Yeah, concentrate on what you're doing with it. Oh, don't touch any of those. Just touch those ones, okay? No, we won't go anywhere else. Only that. What we showed you before.
I can go really feel a bite. This one. I've got the special kind of opinions that don't like this one.
Just over to the right hand side of the boat there, you can see we've come back in against the railway line there. Now this is the main trunk line north, heading north from Auckland up through Helensville, carries on across to Whangarei, Maurewa, Kaukapakapa areas. Now there's no scheduled passenger trains running north of Auckland these days, but the railway line here to the right as time's gone by was a major link for those early settlers living in Northland. Although there's no passenger trains running into Northland these days, the freight trains regularly make their way across the railway line there to the right, servicing the freight needs of Northland.
Huh? Someone's passed away. Yeah. No, it's not as nice as that house. It'll be windier up there too.
That's my one.
That's Michael's.
Yeah. Looks like it, eh? Oh no, here comes Mike's house here.
That's a picture of the house. Look. Hers and she's brought that over there, and you're going to come and fix it up for me.
Not me. Come in. Come in, go fix it.
Yeah, well, you careful of that one now.
Don't fix it up here to about 20 bucks per week.
Oh, that's all right. That's not bad. Yeah, we're going around the corner again.
Yeah.
What's that bridge over there?
to come up on the new bridge.
Oh, we're going to come by the new bridge here.
Just over to the right-hand side of the boat, then running back up into the hills there is the proposed site of a gas-fired power station. Genesis Energy is proposing to construct a gas-fired power station over to the right there, all tied up in the environment court there at the moment. And it's not the fact that we've got natural gas under the ground here or anything, but the gas pipeline between the Kapuni gas fields and Marsden Point, it runs under the river here somewhere about where we are now. And with the national grid, the big heavy-duty power wires fairly close proximity, river here for calling, Genesis Energy has identified this as quite a good place to establish a gas-fired power station. So that's what they intend to do, and as I say, it's all tied up in the environment court there at the moment. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the river goes for many more miles inland. As I was saying earlier on, the headwaters of this particular river rise to within 5 miles of River on the east coast. And in times gone by, those small river steamers and cutters would make their way right into the settlement of Kaukapakapa to service the needs of the early settlers. And this was the scenario right throughout the Kaipara Harbour, where the many, many hundreds and hundreds of miles of inland waterways and river systems were extensively used by those early settlers as their link, their lifeline to the outside world. Very often we can go some further distance inland, around about another 2 miles inland. We can go on a fairly big spring tide, but today we're going to make a turn about where we are, start heading back to the main river and then down to the harbour itself. If you're wondering where we are, just ahead of the boat, that is the Punganui Road Bridge. That's on the road between Helensville and Kaukapakapa, and a little river there called Punganui River, and they're just constructing a new bridge across there at the moment.
That's close, eh?
Huh?
It's close.
Yeah, it's close.
I'm going to stop it.
Because he's turning.
We can turn around.
Look, you have a look at how close he is with the back.
Look when he's turning.
We're going back down. We're going to another part.
I can pay for
Back to the sheep. See, now he's reversing. Now he's going sideways.
Now all this kauri you can see, of course, is regrowth kauri. This was one of the very first areas to be milled over for the kauri timber, and most of those kauris you can see around about 160, 170 years old. But of course, when those sailors first brought the big ships into this river there, it would have been the big tall kauri forest coming right down to the water's edge. The whole European civilization of the Kaipara region actually grew up around the kauri timber industry. Over 100 years ago, ships from many nations would make their way in through the narrow shoaling areas of the Kaipara and into the many small creeks and rivers of the harbour in search of the lucrative cargoes of kauri timber. More than 1.2 million hectares of kauri forest was milled from around the Kaipara estuary, loaded directly onto waiting sailing ships for export away overseas.
Take a photo of you. Thomas. Tom. Tom.
It's very natural. Oh, look at the plane, Tom. Tom, look up the plane up there. Over there. In the trees.
downstairs.
Yeah?
Everyone's gone downstairs.
Yeah. Too hot. Ridiculous.
Nice.
It's nice and breeze.
Yeah.